So I'm gonna start off with what I think is the intellectual avatar for the modern day right. Kevin Sorbo tweeted, Ilhan Omar has been removed from the Foreign Affairs Committee, not because she's incompetent, but clearly because she's a woman of color. That's the only reason. It's a great point and well delivered. Here's the thing. Many others on the right seem to be like trying to make the case that it wasn't about qualifications, it's racial matters. And I am not going to burden you with like all that I have come across the last day or two. You've probably seen a lot of this too, but here are a few pieces of evidence. So as to the substance of it and how serious the things she said is, how she needs to be taken off, I found this to be interesting. As they rode the elevator away from the House floor, congressional newspaper Roll Call reported that the Foreign Affairs Committee GOP member Ken Buck and Republican Representative Mike Simpson reflected on what had just transpired and decided it was a boneheaded move. After Buck decreed it was the stupidest political move, Simpson said the expulsion would probably make the Minnesota Democrat into a martyr. After airing their grievances, the pair reportedly asked those around them not to let leadership know their thoughts. And Insider reached out to their offices for a comment and they will give it. Like, they thought it was a stupid thing that the Republicans were doing. You'll notice though, they voted to kick her off of the committee. They don't think that it's like a place that you have to make a stand. How could we possibly conduct the affairs of the committee with Ilhan? No, they think it's that stupid stuff that the Republicans are doing. I guess we'll do it. I guess we'll kick her off. We don't care what happens or what signal it sends to the American people. The leadership sort of likes it. So please don't tell them that we think it's stupid and boneheaded. So that's the early signal that we have what some Republicans think about it. Then you have people like Charlie Kirk, he's weighing in. Why is AOC bouncing and dancing all over the place? This speech is rhetorical blackface, he said about the speech that she gave in defense of Representative Omar. So in a speech where she talked about racist harassment against both her and Representative Omar, she talked about the legacy of post 9/11 Islamophobia and xenophobia, and accused the right of being driven by racism. One of their most popular commentators decided to weigh in and say that the fact that she was animated in her delivery of those remarks is blackface because those black people, I guess. So again, I don't think I really need to make the case. I kind of feel like he is. Then there's the randos, or maybe they're not randos. I don't know because now everybody can pay $8 to get a check mark on Twitter, so you never know. But I saw in response to AOC posting that video, a portion of her remarks, Elijah Wood. I like Elijah Wood. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I love Frodo. He responded with 3 hearts. That's fine, no problem with that. Daniel DW, who's part of the Elon Musk $8 a month fan club, says, do you whip yourself like extreme religious Catholics to be forgiven of your white guilt? He was so angry at Elijah Wood for posting those 3 hearts that he accused Elijah Wood of being a race traitor. I don't know what, because a white person wasn't happy that a black woman was taken off a committee. He's burned by white guilt. Like they clearly have race at the forefront of their minds. And this is not new. To sort of just catch us up. Fox host Will Cain called Ilhan Omar a real parasite on our political system. She's feeding off a host and that host will ultimately die. He's literally calling her, well, something worse than a cockroach, because I don't think cockroaches are technically parasites, but you have, I'm forgetting this guy's name, and that makes me happy. Pete Hegseth, I remembered. Pete Hegseth says, Ilhan Omar is what unchecked illegal immigration and massive waves of refugees look like without assimilation. Inside the halls of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, she is the authority, and she wants more refugees just like her. Refugees that became a part of America and gained enough respect amongst their peers that they were elected to the House of Representatives. Yeah, she does want more of those. I would also like more of those. Tucker Carlson called her repulsive, loathsome. She passionately hates the country. Can a single human being actually be as loathsome as Ilhan Omar is? It's hard to believe. She's like a parody of her repulsiveness. Sometimes you doubt she really exists. The RNC must have created her. We can't confirm that, of course, which is interesting because he's really revealing what this whole thing is. You can't actually hate Ilhan Omar based on the merits, but they have created a version of her for their audience. They've created it in a lab and then presented it to their audience, and you can hate that, I suppose. By the way, while we're on anti-Semitism, do you know what Tucker Carlson used his platform before millions of people yesterday to do? To host Catherine Austin Fitts, a 9/11 truther, an anti-vaxxer, and someone who says Ziocons control top US officials as, quote, puppets. It's a scheme perpetrated by, quote, the central banks. We're going into a system where literally our homes, our cars, our communities become digital concentration camps. So central banks and online Jewish Ziocons are putting all of us non-Jewish people into digital concentration camps. That's who Tucker Carlson hosted not 12 years ago, not 6 months ago, on the day that they kicked Ilhan Omar off for anti-Semitism. Brett, what do you think?
There's a lot to go through there. First of all, I am sad that the one of the most Oscar-winningest actor of all time, Kevin Sorbo, is upset. I'm
not upset. I'm disappointed.
Disappointed. Everyone look that up. Then Matt Gaetz actually is in that Ken Buck category. He says, I voted with the majority on the matter, but I can't say that it was the best feeling in the world to look at speech as some sort of threshold for someone's participation in the political process. He still voted along with it. So he's anti-free speech, is essentially what he's saying.
Sort of according to him.
He's saying he censored her. Matt Gaetz said that he used, this is not like a private company saying you can't do something. This is the government censoring someone, according to Matt Gaetz. So the Republicans who are doing this thing where they say like, you're racist, I'm not racist, I think there should be separate drinking fountains, but you're racist, right? Don't tell people there were separate drinking fountains. Please enshrine my white power as something that can never be challenged or even mentioned to children or grown-ups ever, anywhere. You're racist. So they are anti-free speech, according to Matt Gaetz. I love Charlie Kirk saying that, oh my God, why is she bouncing all over the place? He's just upset that he thinks he did all the coke. He can't imagine other people would do all the coke. I think between him and Ben Shapiro, he's like, the only people who should be bouncing and talking fast are me, because he has like weird coke face. Please watch his stuff and that. And then Will Cain calling someone else a parasite is the biggest hypocrisy in the world. Will Cain bounces around from being like a sports guy to being a political guy based on who will pay him to say whatever heely thing he says. That's his skill. And he's like this pretty little white boy that, Will Cain, he's a nice boy. It's stupid. Pete Hegseth is a moron. We know that to be the case. But so in the anti-immigration thing is anti-American. So they're anti-free speech. They're anti-American because they do not want you to give them their tired, their poor, their huddled masses yearning to breathe free. They don't want that. They're anti-American. They're anti-liberty. And they are antichrists, to be honest, because Christ would look at people who are refugees. Christ, who was a refugee, he would look at them and accept them in and respect who they are and everything like that. They are anti-Christ, they are anti-American, they are anti-free speech. And so every time they call everyone else a racist but them, just remember that is the right criticism to levy against them based on their own arguments.
Great point. I am shocked that you were able to remember all of those weirdos that I referenced, but I couldn't agree more. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.